Yo, buoy, check, 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 check. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Make the Right Play. A little bit different of a setup. I got the coach still on my left, and maybe it's on the right on your screen, but she is on my left. We got Yabui behind the camera, making everything work for us, making everything sound good for us. Shout out Yabui and Yabui Media for all your media needs in the Pensacola area. Different setup today. Why? Because we have hopeful Congressman John Frankman joining us here live in studio today.
I know. I'm so excited.
Jumping in here any moment. I got my phone here waiting for the arrival, so he should be here shortly. But we're buzzing already. We're getting off to a hot start here. And Coach, how you feeling? Right? It's been a little bit of a busy week. You were already you said you were a little exhausted coming into the show today.
I was tired coming in today, but you know what? I'm so excited. I think it's going to be a great episode because I really like John Frankman.
John Frankman's awesome.
I mean, a former Green Beret. And today, could it be any better? Because Dr. Evil, a.k.a. Fauci, was testifying, or was he just pleading the fifth, not really testifying? But this evil man ruined so many lives, and I was happy to see that at least they're trying to get some accountability for what was going on. So I'm happy that we're going to have John on tonight, and he will discuss what he went through thanks to evil Dr. Fauci.
Yeah, we'll have a lot to talk about with John regarding the whole COVID situation, because John was a Green Beret and then he had to leave the military because they were trying to force everyone to take the COVID vaccine. So we got plenty to talk to him about regarding that stuff. But it's been a crazy week. We just got back from Houston. We were there. I was in Houston.
You got back. We were babysitting Leia.
You were babysitting Leia. Thank you so much for that. How was Leia over the weekend?
Leia was wonderful, but it was sad because sometimes she would look at the door and she'd be like,
she'd be waiting. She'd be waiting for me to get back.
Yeah, but Dad did such a wonderful job taking care of her.
She loves hanging out with Dad.
Shout out to Scott Villa, the best puppy babysitter.
Yes, the best puppy grandfather for sure. He does a great job with Leia.
But why don't you tell everyone about your exciting award?
It was exciting. Well, not really my award. It's more it's for the office, right? It's the growth award for the office, and it's Sam who is our president of the company. She got an award for best office.
That's great.
President. So we're super pumped about that, and the office is doing great. We went to Houston for the conference. It was absolutely awesome. We got a little video here, Yabuye. Put some pictures together and a video of me on stage there, clip 12. We'll show that. It kind of just shows what's kind of going on with the office and the conference. It was absolutely amazing. I wasn't expecting the conference to be this big, and we get there, and the room that we were in was massive. Like, it was huge. Let's show this clip here, Yabu 12. This was the room that we were in, and it was like insane, like crazy. Unbelievable.
That looks fantastic. Carlos, it looks like you were with your people.
It was unbelievable. Yeah, it was
Reserved
awesome.
Seating for the award winner.
National Growth Award right there. Yeah. So this was awesome.
We have Carlos Villa.
Running up there, grabbing it, topping it up. It was very exciting. It was exciting. Lots of exciting stuff. So that was me running across the stage there.
So these officers earned.
I couldn't believe.
Everybody loved you.
I couldn't believe how packed it was.
Everybody on the stage loved you.
Yeah, everybody on the stage did love me. Yeah, it was interesting.
That's what I heard.
That's what I heard. And that's the whole team there.
What a great
Sam got
team.
an
All
award.
good-looking people.
Yeah, it was. Listen, we got a handsome looking team, and that was us at the gala at night, right? Because we had a big gala event that evening. So, and that's where Sam got her big award. So, a lot of fun stuff. The conference was fantastic. Met a ton of great people. Got to meet some people that I actually work with regularly, like over the computer. Some people that I meet with in the morning. So, it was awesome. It was really, really cool experience. I'm already excited for next year. And I work with great people, so I'm excited to continue to help Sam grow that business and do my best to make it the best.
And you know what I'm excited about?
What's that?
Dinner tonight. That you're taking us.
Oh, there he is. Here we go. John Frankman. What's going on? Here he is in studio. John Frankman.
Right over here.
What's going on, Mr. Frankman?
I'm a little old now, so when I get up, it's like a federal production.
Yes.
I'm not a young.
Let me go lock the door
Green
here. What's
Beret.
going on? How are you, Mr. Frankman? Good to have you. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. Hold on one second.
Do I need to throw the headphones on, or is that okay?
Yes. Carlos does too.
Oh, does he? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like if I don't need to, I'm not worried about it.
So John Yabui, I have to introduce everybody to John and tell them a story. So I have to say, after the whole Epstein file thing came out, I was completely disgusted with everybody in politics. Like I saw that everything was a lie. And I really felt like we were so doomed in this country. And then you come on the scene and I hear about you and I said, could there possibly be a person running for office with actual integrity? And I said, all right, I have to go meet him because I have to see if he's going to go on the record or he's going to be a liar like everybody else. Like, oh, I feel terrible about what happened, but we need to put it behind us. And when you came right out and you were like, oh no, we need to hold people accountable. We cannot have a two-tier justice system. I was like, oh my gosh, yay! So I was so happy. So anyway, Carlos, you take it away. You're more the professional than I am.
No, I'm not. Listen, you're crushing it. You're doing a great job professionally. No, but yeah, I mean, John, we were super excited. Obviously, my mom was super excited because, Petronas came in and he was kind of that step in, right? Gates thought he was going to be attorney general. He steps down. Petronas steps in. And we obviously he was one of those people that were like, let's throw it away, right? We don't want to talk about Epstein. We don't want to talk about any of that. And he throws it right out the back door. And it was tough. I mean, we went to DC, we protested, right? We really thought that we were going to get Epstein justice. Yeah. Oh yeah, traveled up there. Flew up to Washington, D.C. right on the doorstep. Got Pam Bondi fired. Coach, right there. That's who got her fired.
There you go.
She got fired 6 days later.
And you know who said Pam Bondi did a great job?
Who is that?
Jimmy Petronas.
How about that?
That man is a disgrace.
Look at that.
That man is a disgrace.
He is. He's a total disgrace. But listen, you got him. You got her fired. You changed the narrative.
Well, you know what was so awful too for me, John? I have to be honest with you. One of the main reasons why we moved to Pensacola was because Matt Gaetz was our congressman.
Yeah.
We had Rose DeLauro, okay? Rose DeLauro. Have you ever seen that woman? She looks like a witch, and I'm not even exaggerating. The one from Connecticut.
I know who you're talking about.
She has like the purple hair, and she's always like, ah. That lady
70s,
morphed.
80s.
She was like
she's god-awful.
She's terrible. And I said, I cannot have this woman represent me anymore. And then Matt Gaetz had told a joke or something after January 6th. And I said, now this guy, I could see him representing me. Pensacola, Florida. I had never even heard of it. I grew up in New York. I lived in Connecticut. I did my research. It was a Spanish colony. I moved here. I have never been happier in my life, honestly. Like the vibe is so good. And the people who live here are so good and so loving. And it's a diverse community. And then when Petronas became my congressman, I'm like, where am I going? Like, I felt so sick to my stomach. So I'm so happy to have you here. And I want you to tell everybody about your platform and I really think people need to know that they're actually good people who are still out there.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are feeling disenfranchised right now about politics because, I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of us voted for Trump thinking that he was an outsider and now he's worse than ever. And it's like, oh my gosh, I voted for somebody thinking he was going to keep us out of foreign wars. And he was, going to go after the Epstein people, and it didn't happen. So I feel good knowing that you're there and you're running, and maybe we can get the country back on track,
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, I worked to get Trump elected. I'm obviously happy that he's in office, not Kamala. Things were absolutely trash under Biden, right? And I think he's doing what he can with executive orders, and maybe he's getting bad advice, bad counsel, who knows? But Congress just is not doing their job. If there's any group to be frustrated with, I think it's Congress right now because we have the House, we have the Senate. Trump won with a majority vote, which almost never happens for Republicans. Yeah, they're being so unproductive. I mean, so much of what you said I can comment on. I didn't know much about who Matt Gaetz was. I got stationed here in 2020. I didn't really have a choice of where I got stationed. Didn't realize how much of a blessing it was, but got assigned to 7th Special Forces Group because I spoke Spanish. Yeah.
Really?
Wow. That's
good.
I
guess. How did you learn Spanish?
So growing up, I took like a year in middle school, a year in high school, a year in college. Then I studied to be a Catholic priest, as I think I've shared with you, and learned a little bit more. My best friend was from Chile. He's the one who actually just married my wife and I out in Spain. So my wife is Colombian.
Wow. Oh my gosh, look at that. John, this is so exciting.
Yeah.
But the way that Special Forces works and what makes us different from every other special operation group is that we work by, with, and through a partner force.
Yeah.
So all of the active components of Special Forces are regionally aligned. We all have to learn a language. So we're working by, with, and through the partner force. And yeah, we're learning to speak their language.
I have to ask you, because now I'm fascinated. Like, I love your platform, but we have to go back. Where did you grow up?
So I was born in Los Angeles, and my parents, they split up when I was younger, and but lived in DC the majority of kind of DC metro area, more or less. So kind of like a split between that. So with my parents splitting up, my dad lived in LA most of my life. Mom was kind of bounced around the East Coast, and then my stepdad was in the military. So I switched schools every year since 3rd grade, except for my junior and senior year. I was at boarding school in Pennsylvania, outside of Philly.
Oh, yeah.
So just kind of all over the place, right? Went to college in Illinois later on, then studied for the priesthood in Washington, D.C. So I've just kind of been, I mean, America, right? Is where
I was just thinking, he is an American man. He's an American man.
Yeah, for real. I don't know, it's an understatement.
This is awesome. I mean, so you're like everything.
Yeah.
Honestly, like you're West Coast, East Coast. Now you're the Gulf of America.
Now in the South, yeah. I mean, the saying in Florida, the further north you go, the further south you go.
Yeah, right, exactly. I didn't realize it. It's so funny. When I went, I had a broadcasting gig in Fort Lauderdale about a month ago or 2 months ago. You go down there and it's like all New Yorkers, right? Like you just go walk around, like people are like, how I grew up. And then I come back here and it's just like, hee-haw, like, what's up, man? It's like, oh, like, my bad. Like, where am I, man? Like, that was a huge change. Like, and people make jokes. They're like, oh, like that's not really Florida because like you're actually like
Florida.
Alabama. But I think it's Florida. I say it's Florida too. I totally agree. But people say that it's like total like country city up here. But I think the people here are awesome. I love the people here. I think they're fantastic.
Yeah, I mean this congressional district right here specifically, it's the most veteran densely populated district in the country. We have about 100,000 veterans here.
Yeah.
It's the most conservative district in the state of Florida. Florida is already very red, but this is the most red district that we have. It's a very solid Christian area. I mean, you talked about the history here. They talked about Galvez, who was instrumental in helping with the American Revolutionary War. So that history goes very far back, some Spanish roots and just an amazing, amazing place. I live out in Destin, but I was going out to Pensacola right when I moved here because, I spent 4 years in seminary. So it's kind of like if you go to culinary school, you can't just go to any restaurant. I kind of feel that same way about churches where I can get kind of picky. So I was going out to St. Thomas More for a bit, St. Stephen's for a bit, and try to get to daily mass even when the campaign is going.
Yeah.
But no, an absolutely just amazing.
It's not easy, but I saw you at daily mass one day. I was shocked. I was like, John, what are you doing here?
Just doing what I got to do, yeah. But, the area is so amazing that it leads me with one question. I asked this to myself after door knocking the other night is, with such an amazing area, why wouldn't Jimmy Petronis want to live here?
Because he's a Fugazi. That's why. He's a Fugazi. He is not Pensacola at all. He's not. He got a ticket going over that bridge. What's that bridge, Carlos?
The 3 Mile.
The 3 Mile bridge.
You got the 3 Mile bridge.
And then he complained about it.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm from New York. I lived in Connecticut 20 years. And even I know you do not speed on that 3 Mile bridge because the cops in Gold Freeze are no joke.
No, they're
speed
not.
over if it's 35, you go 37, they're going to stop you.
Yeah, I've gotten into a fight with them multiple times. I'm like, dude, I'm going like 3 miles. Like, what? Leave me alone. I've told them that. Like, I was like, you kidding me? Like, I'm going at the same rate as everybody else in traffic, and they've pulled me over. They've harassed me. So, it's funny. You mentioned that, this is such a heavy veteran, densely populated area. And something I've heard, quite a bit in the area is that there's no like real VA hospital in this area. And it kind of puzzles me a little bit because we have NAS Pensacola, we have Herbert Field. Like there's so many, military, I guess, outposts or bases around here. And, the nearest VA hospital, it looks like is Gainesville. Is that,
no, there's
Biloxi.
one.
Biloxi, Mississippi.
Biloxi. I thought there was a
so
VA
we have clinics, right? So there's a difference between a clinic and a hospital. And the deal is that we have 38,000 veterans who are registered or go and get service through the VA clinic in Pensacola, about 30,000, 28,000 at the clinic out in Eglin Air Force Base, close to where I live. And the nearest hospital is in Biloxi. They only service about 20,000 veterans. So with the large veteran dense populated district, the area with so many, why don't we have a hospital here? And kind of in response, Petronis recently wrote a stern letter asking to have a study to see if there's a study to see if we need a hospital in this district. Yeah. And everything that I consider he has done since I jumped in the race in January has been to kind of like CYA. Just some cover your ass for not taking care of veterans before. Because I've had many veterans come to me, tell me about trying to reach out to his office, being ignored, not getting the help that they actually need, but also deserve, that they earned. These are the people who protected us, kept our liberties, right? And without them, we would not be living the American life that we have now.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure that we give it back to them. But when your office is not responsive, and then when you don't actually hire a veteran yourself for almost a year until you're actually challenged by another veteran, to think that you have 100,000 veterans here, you're not a veteran. You don't know the difficulties that service members, veterans, their families go through. But you know the area so little because you haven't lived here. You know the area so little that you don't even think that's something
important.
Blind spot. Like it's a blind spot that you don't even know. There's things you don't know, and things you don't know. And it's amazing that one thing that he didn't know was military and veteran issues.
Right.
Well, one thing I have to say about Pensacola since moving here, there's so many veterans here because people get stationed here and they fall in love with Pensacola. So one of the reasons why I love it here is because when I had Carlos, I moved to Connecticut, right? Because New York was too expensive. You can't really raise a family in New York City. So we said, Connecticut, it's like New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, tri-state area. I was wrong. So I moved to Connecticut and it wasn't a very welcoming community in the sense of where people always felt like treated us like we were kind of outsiders. Where when I moved to Pensacola, there were so many people from all over the country because they came here, they served either in the Navy or the Army, I think maybe even the Air Force. And they said, you know what, the minute I'm done, I'm moving back to Pensacola. They raised their families here. They built St. Paul's Church. St. Paul's Church, the one on Hyde Park we go to, was all like veterans from like the 60s and like they raised their families here. So there were a lot of people who were from all over the country who live here in Pensacola. So it's a very diverse community, but they're all so many veterans. Yeah. So how could you not think to put a VA hospital and a community that's primarily, I'm sorry, am I so loud? Poor John.
It's just
John,
warm, some kind of, it's like, I can hear fine.
He's like, I can hear everything.
We hear you. We hear you, Coach. We hear you.
No, but what I'm saying is that there's so many veterans here. How could you not make sure that you put a hospital here to serve a predominantly veteran community? Like, I don't think I've ever lived any place like this.
Yeah, I think that he's just kind of happy to be in office. And when you go from being the chief financial officer of Florida to talking about running for governor on record and then running for a congressional seat outside of your own district, at some point you're just a politician seeking an office, not necessarily genuinely wanting to serve the people of this specific area.
I totally agree.
And that's the difficulty. And for me, I not born here, didn't get raised here, but like tens of thousands of other veterans, I came here, was stationed here, love the area, love the veteran population, love how conservative it is, love just the strong Christian values, family values here. The faith is openly talked about.
Yeah.
And
Which is nice.
It's so conservative that I really do believe that this district needs someone who's going to squeeze every ounce of red out of it as possible. That's my goal if getting elected, God willing. Because we don't want somebody who's just there to make the establishment happy.
Oh, you mean just to get money? Because didn't he say that's what he was going to do, him and Donald? You give him money. Listen, you have the money, honey. Patronus has the time, right? Isn't that what he said? You got the money, honey.
Yeah, well, he's working hand in hand with Byron because he was like, if you invest in this company, then you get a say of how Florida's ran.
Yeah, do you guys pull up clips in this? Because that could be a good one to show to folks.
We've shown it many times.
We've shown it a lot of times because I know we should have had it again today, but we have showed it a lot of times.
No worries. And have you shown the Epstein Files one too?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've shown you talking about.
We've shown that a lot of times. Good. Yeah. I mean, we should have had those today, too. I don't know what we were thinking.
Well, we were both working full-time jobs. So
but you know what we're thinking, honestly, John? We're thinking another thing that brought us here to Pensacola, besides Matt Gaetz, was the fact that we were dragged into the grounds in Connecticut because of the coronavirus. Honestly, let me tell you, there were people who were my friends for over 15 years. They were like my family. They would come to my house. I would go to their house. We all loved each other. We raised our kids together. Yep. The minute COVID started, it was almost like a mass spell was put on people, especially in Connecticut. And I'll never forget when COVID first started, they showed Florida. They said, look at all those COVIDiots in Florida. They're all going to be dead in 2 weeks. So I said, well, listen, if they're not dead in 2 weeks, can we start having a conversation that maybe they're lying to us about COVID? You don't care about old people. It was just nonstop. And a lot of my friendships, like people that I really, and to this day, I still love them. And I don't, I always think about what Jesus says, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. And I'm just like, you know what? I still love them. And I know that they were like a mass psychosis put on these people. So today, to see what happened with Fauci, why don't we show one of the videos?
He didn't testify at all. So let's take a look. So Fauci, for those who do not know and they're living under a rock, Anthony Fauci was up on Capitol Hill today, brought in to testify regarding the origins of COVID and what happened there with that situation. So let's start with clip 2, Yabui, because this is about what he did the entirety of the thing. And in fact, it was 112 times.
Therefore, although it pains me to do so, because of the respect.
No,
sorry about that.
We're playing with some different things today.
Yes.
It's all right.
Although it pains me to do so, because of the respect I have for the legislative branch of government and my decades-long record of cooperating with Congress, under the advice of my attorneys, I will invoke my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution to refrain from answering your questions. Thank you.
So he invoked that right 112 times today
Therefore,
throughout the testimony.
Although it pains me to do so, because of the
right. But what pains us is how many lives he's ruined.
Yeah.
So John, I would like you to talk about how what Dr. Fauci did to you, because honestly, he hurt all of us personally.
He did.
I don't think there's one person in this country who can't say, oh no, actually Dr. Fauci hurt me personally.
Sure. I mean, I can go through my background a bit. I was a Green Beret. I got assigned to 7th Special Forces Group in 2020. I took a team in the fall, and I was just very honest with the team. We were very open. We knew the COVID shot was coming out. As a Catholic, as a former seminarian, I knew that the shots all used human stem cells, embryo cells in the testing and or production of the shot, of the COVID shot. So right. I knew at least that it's remote material cooperation. It's not something I can just do lightly. The shot came out, prayed about it, told my team, I'm not going to punish or reward you based on whether you get the shot. I'm going to let you guys make the personal decision yourselves, but won't affect your career in that manner. We might get some shit for it as a team, but hey, I'll deal with it. And we did get a lot of crap for it. So team sergeant regularly harassed by the sergeant major. I was told at one point that I'm screwing up my career, should look at work outside the military, no way to recover my reputation. We had deployments taken from us. My team time as a detachment commander was cut short. I was ironically supposed to teach ethics at West Point the next time, but because of the strict COVID policies, wasn't allowed to actually move while my exemption was pending. We were in a training scenario. We were supposed to wear red wristbands and red tape on our uniforms in order to demonstrate our vaccine status, right?
Well, what does that sound like?
Yeah, well, actually, another team understood what it sounded like, and they actually made us gold stars as kind of a joke. And I mean, that's good military humor fashion, but yeah. The whole concept, the idea was just absolutely ridiculous. So I think we all suffered from the policies, but from pushing the shots, and I think that Biden knew specific. Well, he didn't know because what did he know, right? He was
he was a blank air. Yeah.
But the people who were working him like a puppet, who were pushing just communist, terrible, awful ideologies, totalitarianism, knew that the way that you get people to take the shot, the way that you can mass push it is you work incentives at first, and then when you have enough of the population on board, then you can make it mandatory. So if you get the military on board, if you affect jobs with OSHA, if you have over 100 employees, government contractors, et cetera, then you're going to get to that point, that scale, and get left states on board where life is just so miserable. You're taking away people's livelihoods. You're taking away.
It's just so miserable.
Right. That's the best way to describe it. I can't tell you how many friends of mine in private would be like, this is such BS. But in public, they'd be like, make sure you get your vaccine, because they were so afraid of losing their jobs and losing their livelihoods. Yeah. But John, what I don't know if you'd feel comfortable sharing this, but I want to hear about the actual struggle. Like, I want to hear about what it must have been like, because listen, this is what happens. And this is why a lot of people are disenfranchised right now. People say they're going to Washington, they're going to do all these things, but they're not tested. You see, then they get to Washington and they get peer pressure. They get bullied. They don't know what it's like to have to really like have a sleepless night going against a huge wave of people like telling them to do something that's not right.
Right.
So I want to know, like, how did you battle that? Like, I'm sure there were nights that you could probably had trouble sleeping. You probably had friendships that were tested. Like, you know, tell us how you went through that.
I mean, it was definitely difficult. I think I was developing a twitch at one point in time, was super nervous. Most of my team didn't end up getting it. I think, and I hope they actually just faked it at the end. But you know, there was pressure because you're taking care of 10 other guys,
right,
looking out for their livelihoods. They're worried about their health. They know if they get mentally or physically screwed up that they want to at least have coverage. And if you voluntarily get the EUA because you can't mandate EUA, emergency use authorized drug, they know that there's no liability there. So they wanted to wait until they got the order so that at least if they got physically injured, they knew who they could sue.
Yeah.
How sad is that, right? But going and having to talk to the sergeant major, having to figure out how am I going to talk to my company commander if this comes up, coming with arguments. I was talking to legal assistants so much. I first contacted legal assistants because I was wondering, how do I deal with a transgender major? As crazy as that is, that there's a transgender Green Beret at 7th Group. But then later on, in discussing what are my legal rights, what can I do, seeking it from JAGs, passing the information on to others, far beyond just my specific team. And I think the biggest, I mean, there were so many stressful points. One of the very stressful points, we were jumping out of planes. We were out in Arizona. I was on a military free fall team. So that's skydiving. That's 14,000 feet with oxygen equipment, often at nighttime. And we were doing night jumps, and I wasn't having the cleanest exits. By all standards, I was newer, maybe 30, 40-ish jumps or something at that point, and was nervous enough about that, nervous enough about everything happening with COVID, was hearing that 1st Special Forces Command was changing their policy, making it where if you weren't vaxxed, you couldn't deploy. So I'm having to talk with my team and figure out what's going on. Then I have to talk to my company commander, and we're jumping out of planes in the middle of the night, right? So I have all that stress. I told my team sergeant, Matt, if I die, please make sure you communicate to everybody how much of a burden this was for them to take a mission away from the team. Because you go through 2 years of just very grueling training in order to, become a Green Beret. You go through SEER, survival, evasion, resistance, and escape, where you're put in a prison camp, you're slapped in the face, they interrogate you. You go through selection, which is like a 30% pass rate. I remember getting out of that, eating a bunch of MREs and still losing like 20 pounds.
MREs is brutal.
Like 3-4 of them.
Yeah, it's so bad.
But I mean, other points of pressure, we had training assignments that were unwanted that we were thrown in when our mission was taken from us. And my team sergeant and I thought, hey, we're being put in this to get fired. Whether that's true or not, that was in the back of our mind. And then how do you respond? And I think the most pissed I was when we had, when we were in council in the middle of the woods. So that scenario where they want us to wear red tape and red wristbands, it's a 2-week training scenario. It's called JROTC, the Joint Readiness Training Center. And you're put in the box, you're put into the training scenario. It's thousands of soldiers. It's supposed to mimic a near-peer fight where a brigade versus another brigade. And being in the middle of that kind of 14 whatever day exercise, you get a 10-hour break. During that 10, 12-hour break, we are counseled. They send a major out to counsel us and say, you have 72 hours to get the shot or there will be further consequences.
Wow.
And that's criminal to me. That's so criminal.
I called my commander, and there's some things that I'm like surprised that I actually did some of these things. But I called my commander. I'm like, hey, sir, why is my team getting counseled in the middle of the woods during this training exercise? How am I supposed to show them that training to fight and win wars is more important than administrative bullshit when this is supposed to happen? How are they supposed to make a lifelong career decision without the proper medical, legal, or religious resources? And we're just not going to get value when this is happening. So fortunately, it was pushed on. But there were high stress.
That took a lot of courage.
Done.
That took a lot of courage for you to stand up because you're under a lot of stress. But to say, hey, what are you doing sending these people here to try to brainwash my guys? We're in the middle of training.
Yeah.
They're like, that's essentially what you did in a very nice, polite way.
Well, especially too, like standing up to your higher ups and like having those uncomfortable conversations. A lot of people are afraid to do that. Like a lot of people just can't talk to people in authority and like be like, hey, like what's your problem?
It's not fun, but the situation called for it.
Yeah, you have to.
We had a couple other fun ones. We had a 2-star general come in, and that's not like somebody you see every day, but he was having a town hall, and this was almost a year after the mandate came out. And I'm still waiting with my religious exemption pending. And I just, asked him a question about halfway through or towards the end of it. I'm like, hey, sir, I'm Captain Frankman. Like 2 weeks ago, the CDC, Center for Disease Control, said that there's no distinction between how the vaxxed and unvaxxed should be treated. Yet there's about 30 of us who haven't gotten the shot. We can't deploy. We can't travel. We can't move to different duty stations. Also, my exemption's been pending since last year. So is there any conversation about getting rid of this mandate, and when are we going to get our exemptions back? So that was also another pretty fun one. And he just kind of responded like, have you heard of Novavax? I'm like, yes, sir, that uses aborted fetal cells too, because I knew what he was trying to do. And then that he doesn't want to kick anybody out, but he would if he needed to. And I'm just like, okay, that's when I was like, I'm just out of here.
Yeah, it's just not going to work out anymore.
Yeah.
But that takes a lot of integrity. And that is something that I feel that they're lacking in DC. Is integrity.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I discovered. I mean, I got out of the military and I didn't just sit on my laurels. I was like, hey, I think God has put me on this mission to go advocate for veterans, advocate for accountability for the, not just, Fauci, but specifically the flag officers, specifically the leaders who push this order on their service members, because we've had thousands, if not millions, who've been vaccine injured in the military. We've had about 100,000 that have been separated. We have many who stayed in the military who didn't want the shot, got it, or didn't get the shot and stayed in, and their careers are irreparably harmed. But just going up to Congress, doing this when the Republicans had the majority in the House, right? If you don't have the Senate, you don't have the presidency. Yeah, there's a lot you can't get done. But the practical things they could get done is they could have hearings.
Yeah.
That would have helped alert the world to all the problems that have happened in the military, and given them a platform of what they need to do to repair the damage done. And now they're playing catch up. Now, even though we had 100K that were forced out, we've had less than 200 return.
Right.
So that's a 500 to less than 1 ratio. And that's one reason I'm running. There's been no accountability for COVID. There's been no accountability for COVID within the military. And the military reinstatement process is broken, and no member of Congress is talking about it. We have more veterans here than any other district in the country. If I don't get in Congress, the fight for COVID accountability, the fight for reinstatement, the fight to make sure that this never happens again and these service members are taken care of and service members are taken care of in the future, it's gone. Yeah. And I don't want to, I'm not trying to say that to say of self-import, but just saying that of how things are right now.
Yeah.
You know, Carlos, you should play the video with the senator. The guy, even though he uses some bad language.
Okay.
The one where he never even wanted to be in politics.
Yes.
He's like John.
Yeah, he has Senator Bernie Moreno. Yeah. Let's show that clip. Clip 8 here, you boy.
It was about 6 years ago today that I decided I'm going to give up my businesses, sell them all, run for office, run for the United States Senate. Here I am sitting in front of you 6 years later saying, who the fuck do you think you were for doing that?
Bad word.
Bad word, Coach.
Well, it is a total disgrace what you did to this country. And if my Democrat colleagues are standing there defending you, I hope the voters of the United States of America watch the clips of every one of you doting on a guy who was more interested in being a celebrity than saving American people. I will make it my mission to make certain that every single one of those Democrats who did that will see that clip over and over and over again. Because there is no defense of what you did. You may have had a 50-plus year legacy of public service, but it ends in total and complete disgrace. So let me ask you an opportunity to answer one question. Will you apologize, just apologize, to the people who you harmed through your actions? Will you say, do you have the dignity to just say you're sorry?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What a puss.
One of 112 times he used that line.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable. And John, you put it perfectly. There has been zero accountability with COVID. I think that's another, and honestly, it's another, not to the same level as Epstein, but it's another thing where they're just like, we're just going to brush this off and we're going to pretend like it never happened. And we're just going to, try to move on past it. Like honestly, that's what it gives is like, we're just going to try to avoid this as much as possible. Hopefully that people just kind of forget of what took place here. And it's unbelievable.
So they're putting, what do they call it? Like lipstick on the pig or something like that, what they say.
Totally.
They're doing that much more with regards to COVID than they are with regards to Epstein. I think with Epstein, it was just a major flaw in how it was responded to, saying, hey, we want to move on from it, or nothing to talk about here, and just pushing to not have the votes come out. But with COVID, I think they're more or less hoping that the American people have forgotten, which unfortunately very short attention spans. The people, the senators who were fighting back then, and some of my favorites, Rand Paul, Ron Johnson. Ron Johnson's office was probably the most responsive and helpful to me, at least on the Senate side, which was fantastic. But yeah, I don't think that there's really been anything done with COVID. There's just kind of this, hey, we have RFK in office now, so we're good, right? Even though it's like, what are we doing with pesticides?
It's like, what's happening now? No, yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think that was kind of like their Band-Aid of like, hey, listen, we got this anti-vax guy in office now, so you should be happy, right? Everybody's happy. And it really gets frustrating. We talked about, just the lack of integrity and the lack of like, hey, we need to right some of these wrongs that have happened over the last 5-6 years. And it just hasn't, that's just been something that we thought we were really going to get with this new current administration, and we just haven't seen it. And obviously, like you mentioned earlier, Congress just hasn't done a thing. They still can't pass the Save America Act. It's just, we've seen no sense of urgency, no sense of getting things done with Congress at all.
The one thing I would say about COVID, though, is that it did lift the veil.
Yes.
So many of us were like asleep and, we're like, yeah, USA, like everything's great. And it kind of like woke a lot of us up where it's like, you know what? We've been asleep and it's time for us to wake up and do something about everything that's happening right in front of our faces.
Right. A lot of people who are considered conspiracy theorists before, like, there might have been something to that. So
listen,
raise
John,
your hand.
That was me.
Raise your hand, Coach.
Let me tell you something. In Connecticut, oh my gosh, I was like the number one. I mean, I had people come after me on social media like you wouldn't believe.
Every day.
Oh, they hated me,
Every
and
day.
I refused to ban because for me it was like I love my kids more than being well liked by other people.
Yeah.
And what I saw, my son was in high school. Okay. It was too dangerous for him to go to school, but he was an essential worker at McDonald's.
40 hours a week.
Yeah, cleaning
Essential worker.
bathrooms. Like, so let me get this straight. It's too dangerous for my teenage son to go to school, yet everybody in Florida is going to school, but I am watching my kid go through a depression.
Yeah.
And going to McDonald's, like that's how he gets out of that. Like it was so disgusting. And I have to say, if it wasn't for Ron DeSantis, I don't think this country would have gotten out of those lockdowns because I think he just like he was part of pulling that veil and saying like, listen, guys, look at everybody. Nobody's dead here, but in Connecticut and in the Northeast, it was like, no, you have to get vaxxed. You can't 6 feet. You have to go the same direction, even in the supermarket. You can't talk to your friends. Christmas. It was Christmas of 2021. They said if you had more than 5 people in your house, they were going to come, find the host, find everybody.
Yeah, and arrest everybody.
They didn't even want you to see family, people waving to seniors. Like, it was so disgusting. But show what Dr. Fauci said about Ron DeSantis.
Well, this is, what Senator Moody from Florida gave it to Dr. Fauci today. Clip 7, you boy.
Time while you were giving those statements, knowing there was no scientific basis for it, and we know now you knew it because we have your diary entries, you called the governor that I worked with to fight to keep Washington and D.C. out of our state so that we could indeed respect the rights of our citizens. You called our governor, Governor DeSantis, and I'm going to quote this so I get it right out of your journals, a total jerk, that he is a complete disgrace, that he is blocking local authorities from mandating masks in various locations, including schools. And you were very concerned and upset that we were actively, and I'm going to quote, criticizing you, and we talked virtually every day about being wrong on everything. And what is astounding is that you wrote you feared because of that, because we were questioning our government, because we were fighting back for the truth from our government, from scientifically based recommendations, because we were pushing for that. You said you feared that our democracy is in dire danger. Thank goodness we have people up here that I work with that understand our role, which is to report to our bosses, the people, because they are in charge.
The people are in charge, Coach.
No,
the people are in charge.
It was really, if it wasn't for Ron DeSantis, honestly, I don't think that the country would have gotten out of that lockdown the way. And so it takes really great leaders who have a lot of courage and to do the right thing, even when it's hard. Even when you have Dr. Fauci, who was like a hero. I mean, people were like worshiping at the altar of Dr. Fauci.
Yeah.
It was like he was just the savior. And it was, I couldn't go to church. I couldn't go to church. I was I wouldn't let COVID get to me, but that Christmas, it was Christmas, December 2020. It got to me when we couldn't go to Christmas Eve Mass.
Well, that was very, I mean, that was unfortunate with like blue states. With red states, when you had bishops shutting down their diocese, that was even more frustrating to me.
Yeah.
When they said, hey, apart from like a death, someone being near death, no confessions, no mass, I'm thinking like, well, what about spiritual death? What about mortal sin?
Yeah.
How are you trying to show that eternal life is more important than temporary life?
Yeah.
So it was a huge thing where all common sense was gone. But I don't think that it means that suddenly because we got through this that it's restored. I think it just kind of crises don't they don't create character, they reveal it.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm worried for the future. And what I tweeted something earlier today that Republicans have had 18 months to hold Fauci accountable. They've had 18 months to hold drug companies liable for the damage that they've done. They've had 18 months to protect us or fight for medical freedom. So don't fall for the false outrage right now.
Yeah.
I think a lot of what Republicans are doing, unfortunately, it's possible the people in the clips, I think apart from Ron Johnson and Rand Paul, I'm going to be skeptical about every single one of them that's making a call right now if they haven't been actively fighting this over the last couple of years, because all of a sudden this comes out right before a midterm election. I'm sorry, but we can't trust the establishment Republicans that we have in office right now.
We can't. That's 100% right. That's 100% right. But I mean, the swamp is composed of both parties. And that's, I think sometimes people kind of forget that. Like, it's not just a bunch of libs in the swamp. There's a lot of Republicans that have been there forever. The Mitch McConnells, right? Like, there's a lot of people that have been there for so long that hasn't done a thing and have been part of the problem rather than part of the solution, which brings me to my next question. This actually came from the chat. Shout out Scott Villa. We kind of just wanted to hear from you. How do you kind of plan on dealing with the pressure that you're going to face from your fellow Republicans when you don't want to get in line, right, with the party, right? This is how the party is voting, and this is how you got to vote, John. Are you going to do that, or are you going to, how do you plan on facing that kind of pressure?
I mean, the same way they faced the pressure with regards to COVID and, lost out a lot at great personal cost, stood on principles, stood on my faith values. And that was through prayer, through seeking counsel of others, through discernment. And one of the fortunate things that I have is I was studying for the priesthood in D.C. I know at least 2 or 3, maybe 4 of the priests who are at St. Peter's on Capitol Hill and St. Joseph's on Capitol Hill, which are both located less than a mile, maybe like half mile from the House offices on the Hill and the Senate offices on the Hill. I even joked with one of them that, hey, if I'm still single when I get elected for Congress, could I come live with you guys in this office, right?
Yeah.
Or just in the rectory. So having that kind of spiritual resource right there, I would love to be the congressman who you see gets to get daily mass, daily if possible, as often as possible. If not, praise the rosary regularly, but just kind of keeping that strong faith background. I'm not going to say I will never fall, right? Someone who says that, beware.
Yeah.
But with God's grace, I will not. If I stay close to him, I will not. I'm human. I'm weak. So pray he comes to me. But running on those principles, and also the other thing is that I'm not incentivized to do what I think the establishment wants. This is very much a grassroots campaign where I'm not receiving large amounts of money from questionable sources versus, running against Jimmy Patronis, but he doesn't actually have an incentive to do what the people of Florida's 1st District want. Yeah. Apart from doing something absolutely outrageous, his incentive, because he came in under the endorsement, is to keep Republican leadership happy. Right?
Exactly.
He's in trouble though, because Rick Scott tweeted something today, and I think he said something like Patronis is in trouble. And I think he only had, when I saw it, maybe 4 views on it, or like 4 comments. Like, I think people are waking up and they don't like what they're seeing in Washington. And we just have to make sure that people know about you, because you are correct. Man could never be the ultimate arbiter. We have to look to a higher power. And the problem is that I think now, not the problem. The good thing about people waking up is that I think they're starting to see this is a battle between good and evil. Yeah. So either you're on God's side or you're on the other side. And I think that when you see somebody who's being led by Jesus, being led by God, rather than being led by money, right? Because money's the root of all evil. I think people are going to feel that in their spirit. And Pensacola, honestly, it's a holy place, because I walk around, I could feel the Holy Spirit. I do things and I don't know what happens. I just do and then all of a sudden I'm like, that was the Holy Spirit. And I feel great. But I think that people are understanding that now. And I think that I really believe that if people really want to see a change, they're going to have to be candidates like you, who are like, I don't care about the money. I'm not going out there being backed. I'm just going out there on the will, and I'm going to follow my gut. And that's all I need.
Yeah, and it's tricky. And I mean, obviously, I'm strategizing. How do I get the votes necessary to win? The struggle isn't necessarily people who watch this podcast, people who are listening right now, people who are on X, Instagram, Facebook, and do a little bit of research. The difficulty is, how do you get the people who are just happy that Trump's in office, that mainly receive their news on Fox News? They're going to get 5 mailers from Patronis, and because of the millions he has to spend, and just maybe the tens of thousands, or maybe whatever I have, it's just hard to beat that delta. Right,
to touch those guys.
And that's where, if you're watching right now, I need you to help spread the word. I need you to get on my website and volunteer to help out with the campaign. It can be as easy as door knocking. It can be easy as doing phone calling. And even if you don't want to contact me, just texting every single person you know who lives within this district and telling them to get out and vote. August 18th is the primary. Early voting starts August 8th and goes to the 15th. I need more votes than Patronis, and that's the only way that this is going to win. If you forget and feel bad about it, and then you're in November, I'm sorry, it's too late. And that's what the Republican Party of Florida has been awful lately. They've just been rigging it, putting in their establishment folks.
That's what I've noticed. I've noticed that we were talking about that earlier. It's very frightening. And I think Ron DeSantis actually talked about it the other day, because he was like, we've worked so hard to kind of turn this state around and put this state in such a good place that it is now. And the Florida GOP has just really, been like, we're going to do the exact same game plan that the Democrats did. They got in a room and they were like, Byron Donalds is the guy, right? He's going to be the governor pick, and this is who everybody's going to go fill into our bubble for. And they pulled the Kamala Harris playbook, and they said, we're going to do it here. Yeah. And it just it shocks me to see. But then it goes right back to my point where it said the swamp is both Republican and Democrat. It's one uniparty, it's one establishment, and they just funnel their guys in and who they want and who's going to help support whatever cause they want to focus on, and that's it. And it's really frightening. And I love your website. I was actually just looking at it just now, right? Because you're talking about a little bit on your website here, like infrastructure that matters, talking about, how you go and I guess advocate for things that we need, down here. What would you say are like the number one issues that you think people are thinking about? The people that actually do the research, what are they thinking about most, like down here, that they feel that we need the most help?
I mean, they're thinking about the traffic on 98, especially with Hurlburt. I think that's probably the biggest kind of general pain in the butt that people are seeing. I mean, there certainly is on the Brooks Bridge, where I live, connecting Fort Walton Beach and Okaloosa Island. And I mean, I think if Jimmy actually lived here and drove on it, he'd be like, oh yeah, this is a problem.
Yeah, this sucks.
Because he's on the transportation committee. So it's like, what are you doing? Right. But But they'd probably consider that one topic right now, especially because the governor's race is AI data centers.
Yeah.
And I think that.
Yeah. What do you think about the data center?
Yeah, I do not want the data centers.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of issues, difficulties that come with it. You have environmental concerns about them taking up a lot of water, which we have some aquifers here, which are really important for us to maintain. Take up a lot of electricity. We already have pretty stretched infrastructure, and your general populace, people, especially north of I-10, are like, hey, we're expanding way too fast.
Yeah.
We want this place to feel like this place and not feel like something else too quickly. And if we don't get the roads, whatever, electricity, it's just going to happen too fast. So you have infrastructure difficulties. You have unknown health causes. I have a bunch of people who are going to vote for me who are sending me videos of like, hey, what's happening with cattle, livestock, crops, births of animals nearby these places. And then about Fourth Amendment issues, the surveillance state. How is AI being driven with flock cameras right now, and what extra capacities will it have? So with that, what's my policy going to be? It's going to be trying to keep them out of here by not providing any federal funding whatsoever, making sure that if they do end up coming here, they have to provide their own electricity, their own water. Can't take from any of us. They can't be a stretch on the infrastructure whatsoever. They're liable for any damages they cause. We're not going to let them be another big pharma or another whatever pesticides that's allowed right now.
Yeah.
And we need to just get rid of flock cameras too, and just kind of protect from the surveillance state. Those are some of the bigger answers I got.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's such an interesting battle that Florida is kind of facing right now because, I hear a lot about, people wanting to protect Florida's like wetlands, protect, Florida, like the natural things of Florida. But then on the, you have this other side of the coin where you have so many people coming here, right? And we right now we don't have the infrastructure to bring in all of these people, especially not on the Panhandle, right? They're already flooding the boot down by Miami and Tampa and all those places, right? You have so many people coming down and moving there. What do you think in your mind, what does District 1 and the Panhandle really need to focus on in terms of infrastructure and building? How do we kind of mitigate that with all these people moving here? What would you think is probably the best way to handle that?
I mean, the big answer is, that's much more a state local thing. And that's where you need to get involved with your county commissioner races. And what I can do is I can allot the federal resources when it makes sense. I'm definitely a limited government kind of guy. The biggest existential threat I think that's facing our nation right now is the $40 trillion deficit.
Yeah.
If we don't take care of that's over $118,000 for every man, woman, and child, every citizen to have to pay off if we're going to go to zero, which is frightening. This is where Rome was before they fell, and no one understands it. No one's worried about it. We're just going to keep printing money because that's the incentive for congressmen, elected officials, is to continue to get reelected. The incentive needs to be saving the country. I want to change the incentive structure through having term limits, no special interest group money to get elected, not having any insider trading. But
that would be nice. Not having any insider trading, that would be great. I mean,
That's
and I love that you even want term limits. Like, you're not like, oh, I want to go to Congress and be there forever and hold on to power.
Right.
We're going to be talking to John. He'll be like 80 years old. He'll be like, thanks for coming on, John. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, still don't have term limits. Yeah, I'll keep fighting until
how'd those term limits work out, buddy?
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
No, that would be awesome. But
John has a lot of integrity. I have to say, it's so nice to meet somebody who, is led by the Holy Spirit rather than led by the things of this world.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because, going to daily mass, it's a game changer in life, because you go on Sundays and it's almost like you're getting the Cliff Notes, where if you go every day and you're hearing the gospel every day, and it's just like, oh my gosh, listen to that prophet. Wow. That sounds just like what we're going through right now. It's the same exact story. And this is from over 2,000 years ago, where you have one person telling everybody, stop what you're doing. You're worshiping the wrong thing. You have these false idols. Atone, repent. And people are still Epstein had his bank account, Baal. You have the Old Testament and you hear about Baal all the time when you're in daily mass. And you're like, wait a minute, what the heck is this? So it's just so nice knowing that somebody is running for, and I could be like, God led me to District 1 because I said, God, how could you do this to me that I have Patronus after I moved here?
Funny. Yeah.
I was really upset about it when I said, am I going to be stuck with another Rose DeLauro? That's what I was worried about, because that's where it starts. You have your local government, your congressman, your representative being a clown. And you're saying, oh my gosh, I have this clown as a representative, not a real person, not somebody who really has integrity. And then you show up and I was like, oh, thank God.
Integrity.
Well, I gotta get elected, and that's why I need your help. Appreciate you having me on here, and need the help of all of your viewers and things like that. Get involved. You can go to the website. You can donate. Cash donation. I mean, that donations help for sure. It's the unfortunate, ugly part of politics, but anything you can give helps, and volunteering too. But yeah, I mean, definitely very blessed to be led to this area. I think about Jesus sending out his apostle or disciples in twos. If the place rejects you, let the dust fall off your sandal. Curse the place. If they accept you, stay there. I feel like this place has accepted me. I absolutely love it. It's just the value systems totally match. Love the beach. I saw you Blue
Angels, but I was in a minivan, so I couldn't open the window. I said, because I was like, oh my gosh, there's John standing on the bridge. And I was going to wave hello. I said, John's going to be like, wait, every time I go out, there's that lady, whenever I'm in Pensacola, John, hi, it's me.
No worries. Yeah.
But there was, lucky for you, there was a big window. I couldn't open it. I was in a minivan in an Uber. My husband didn't believe me we could take an Uber there. Can you believe that? He always has such little faith. I'm like, Scott, trust me. God's going to work it out.
That's smart.
Yeah, we took an Uber right there.
So many cars going over that bridge that day. And I was sign waving that day on the bridge going over into from Gulf Breeze into Pensacola Beach.
Here's a good military question for you. What'd you think of that flyover?
Wednesday sounded BA. I was talking to there's a Blue Angel who goes to one of the churches of mine, and it does sound like it was dangerously low.
And was it dangerously low?
So, yeah. I mean, thank God no one was hurt. But
pretty cool though.
Listen, John, I'm telling you right now, I would have been thrilled if I was on that beach and they would have thrown me in the water. Okay?
Oh yeah.
If I would have been there and the plane would have came and I would have been flying.
It's a fun story. You get fun stories, right? Like I've had some fun stories happen in the Army that it's like, was it? Did you live? Sure. Okay. Then laugh about it.
All right. Cool.
No one got hurt.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. That's great, man. That's great. Well, John, we appreciate you coming on, dude. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. This has been a great hour getting to just chat with you and get to know you a little bit more. I would love to, I know you mentioned volunteering. I'd love to, any way we can help out. Anytime you want to come on, Absolutely. Feel free. And we think you're great, man. We really, I love your platform. I love everything you stand for. I think you're really the right person and what we need in DC right now in terms of, like we mentioned all show, integrity and values. That we desperately need that in this country. We have to get back to that and have to get back down that road. I think it's huge.
We have to be God-centered.
God-centered,
we can't keep living in a country where it's like we're going to take God out of everything because it hasn't worked out well for us. That's what we did during COVID. That's why everybody was so easily brainwashed. I'm sorry to say.
That's why God allows for nations to fall. And if you look at Romans 1, Paul's talking about how the Greeks rejected God. They gave up normal relationships with women for unnatural relationships with other men, and God let them fall into their sins. And if our country doesn't put God first, that's why I say fighter for faith and freedom. We need to have faith values bringing up to DC. I do believe we are a Christian country. It doesn't necessarily affirm any specific denomination, but that value system is what drives us, which makes us great. But the further we go from that, the further we're going to suffer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No,
absolutely. Because who's the ultimate arbiter of what's right or wrong? I'm sorry. I don't trust any man to tell me this is what's right, this is what's wrong. No, because how many people said taking that vax is right, being locked up was right, staying 6 feet is right, and it turns out to be that Dr. Fauci was writing in his diary that it was all BS and he created this in a lab and he lied about everything.
Yeah, insanity.
And I just wonder if people are going to have the courage to look in the mirror and to say, you know what? I really wasn't praying. I lacked all kinds of discernment that I let this guy just, Yeah,
and people shouldn't go forward with shame if they got the shot and they reject it later. I mean, what I tell people is, I'm very fortunate I didn't, but there's so many things that I know are sins, that I know are wrong, that I have done anyway. And in grave manners and graver manners than just getting the shot, which was morally questionable. The Pope said it was fine. So don't beat yourself up when you repent and you say, I did that, but that's not the standard of who I want to be. The standard of who I want to be is up here. you actually raise your standards as a person. You grow from the experience. But to just be like, well, yeah, I did it, but I had to because of my family. Had to because of my job. It's like, with regards to your family, think about the rights your family is going to have in the future.
Right.
With regards to your job, think about the jobs that they're going to have, or think about what's more important in your spiritual life. So, I don't condemn anyone for getting it. Just, get your head right. Let's move forward. Let's put in preventative measures. Congress, right now, let's get some preventative measures, making sure this doesn't happen. I'm endorsed by Stand for Health Freedom. Dr. Ben Tapper, Dr. James Thorpe signed Dr. Mary Bowden's pledge to get COVID off the market, the COVID shot off the market. I will be the absolute largest medical freedom fighter, period, up there, working for a medical freedom amendment and holding drug companies liable. We need that kind of legislative action right now when we have the majority, not, oh, we wish we did. But anyway.
Well, we can't even pass the SAVE Act. So, I mean, good luck, buddy.
That's intentional. If they cared, they would have done it last year.
Exactly. I mean, it's unbelievable. It absolutely drives me nuts. Just the lack of, there's just no urgency. There's never any urgency. And it kills me, man. I don't know if it's just like, because I have New York blood or something, that it's like urgency. But like, you just got to do something, man. I mean, for real. Like, it's brutal. But thank you so much, John. And let everybody know again. I put your website in the chat, but please let everybody know again where they can go and donate and volunteer.
Yeah, you can go to frankmanflorida.com. That's my website. I have a contact link there, so you can go. You can press contact me. You can sign up to volunteer, send me a message. If you want to donate, there's a donation link. There's also a merch link, too. If you want to go to the shop link, you can go there. You can buy a hat, buy a shirt.
Right there.
Nice shirt.
It's a good shirt. It's good color. Good color.
Oh, yeah. I'll have to get you one.
Yeah, green and gold. Like that. It's a good color right there.
No, it's fun. Yeah, very, very Army, very special.
We had a couple of your guys pop in the neighborhood the other day. I think I told you about that. Yeah, but they popped through our neighborhood. Great guys. You got a good group.
I have to say, when I go driving, I see Frankman signs.
I do. I see a lot of Frankman signs. I do.
Just got to get the word going.
Yeah.
I see a lot more Frankman signs than I do Patronus signs.
I haven't even seen a Patronus sign.
Like, actually.
Yeah.
Have you seen one?
I haven't seen. I've seen one.
I think
you saw
so
one
far. I think they just popped
Two?
up, but it's just like
Too
Trump
many.
endorsed. It's like, what have you done though, man?
Yeah, it's like, come on. But it's a big name. It's a big name, but it doesn't win everything. I mean, look at Massey. Massey didn't win.
I know.
Wait,
so,
what?
Said like the Trump endorsed. Like, you got to just fight against it.
I think there was the Ohio race or the Indiana race, or where was it? The Maha person beat the Trump endorsed person.
I think so. Yeah.
So you never know. And with the district that was represented by Matt Gaetz, and I mean, we didn't even get into my relationship with Matt Gaetz during the interview, but he took me to the State of the Union. He's had me on his show about a dozen times for interviews. I met him first at 2021 when the shot nonsense was coming out, and I told him about it and contacted his office. So people are used to that kind of firebrand, and now they have just they just have a placeholder, right?
Yeah.
It's totally a placeholder.
He's there to just sit in the, it's a seat that, it's just crazy that it doesn't live here, but it's just totally a placeholder. And I hate when they have these safe red seats that are super red. They give it to just very moderate establishment. We need to be squeezing every ounce red out of it. We need to be moving the whole party further right. But anyway, I know I keep...
No, you're fine. I love it. I love just, getting... I didn't realize you had such a good relationship with Matt Gaetz. You got to get him on.
He's good to me. Oh, yeah.
We're his competition.
Yeah, like, come on, help us out.
No, I love Matt. That's honestly,
we're big Matt Gaetz
that's the reason
fans.
why we moved down here, because that's how I learned about Pensacola. But I have faith because I feel like the Holy Spirit guides Pensacola.
100%.
And I have a feeling that word's going to get out in the churches and people are going to be talking and they're going to be like, do you want somebody who's God-fearing and who loves Jesus, or do you want somebody who just loves money? And I think the truth spreads like wildfire. I don't want to jinx myself, but I
just got to keep praying.
Yeah.
Just keep praying. Honestly, I think a lot of great things come from just keep praying and just keep doing the right things. I mean, that's where I landed with the job that I have now, is just doing the right thing, and that's honestly what you can do. So, John, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you coming on the show and hanging out with us for an hour. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. For those who have been watching all show on YouTube, make sure you guys are hitting that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're new. We appreciate you guys. On Rumble, hit that like button, hit that follow button before you go. And on X, make sure you guys are retweeting or reposting now on X. Hit that like button as well before you go. Share, share, share. We got to get our boy John Frankman here in Congress. We got to get him to DC. So please share, share, share. Thank you guys so much for watching. And everybody, have a great rest of your evening. We'll be back same time, same place next week. And we got another great show in store for you next week. It'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll get Jermaine Williams on the show. So
That's
shout
what
out
we're
Jermaine.
hoping.
But thank you guys so much. John, thank you again. And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much, everybody.
See you, Nate.